Shalom. All right, the spirit hit me. I wanted to do this quick. What I'm saying? This is an improv. The spirit was saying that this image right here, this image brought rape. This image brought robbery. This image brought so-called white supremacy. This image brought lynchings. This image brought alligator bait. This image brought violence. This image brought mutilation. This image brought broken families. This image brought madness. This image brought indoctrination. This image brought hating your own self. This image brought so-called plantation Christianity. This image brought genocide. This image brought insanity. This image brought brainwashing. This image brought complete sickness. This image brought destruction of the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans. This image brought Christianity. This image brought so-called white superiority. This image brought the modern form of Christianity. This image brought crosses around your neck. This image brought destruction of who you was. This image brought complete insanity, right? This image brought the destruction of a nation. This image brought indoctrination deep in your mind. This image was pushed and perpetrated on you your whole life, and it's a lie, right? This image brought death. This image brought idolatry. This image brought complete insanity. And this is who our people been praying to, right? For all these decades. This devil, right, has destroyed this nation, right? Idolatry. I can't even think of enough words to say. This image is in your mind. This image is what you see when you pray. This image is what you see when you read the Bible. All right? And it's a lie. This is the devil in the flesh. All right? 1 second. All right? 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. KJB. It says, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, but that is worship. So he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? So this image has dominated the minds, the souls, the mental, right? The dreams, right? The spirit of our people, right? For decades, among decades, right? And it's so deep because the spirit moved me, right? I was meditating. I was just thinking about how much, we've been through as a people, right? And we hate our own self, right? When you've been showing this, let me say this too as well, right? Every other nation on this earth has a God that looks like them, right? Besides the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, especially the so-called blacks, right? Every other nation on earth has a God that looks like them besides you, right? You've been praying to this devil, and that's why you hate yourself. That's why you hate your own people, right? That's why you hate everything, right? That's so-called black, and we're not black people, right? That's another ignorant term to call yourself, right? So when you've been praying to this person, right, this idol as your God, right, you can never imagine God to look like you, right? But what's crazy about all this, the ironic part about it, The very same people that love this image, they hate their own self, and they hate the God that look like them. How insane is that? Because this heavy indoctrination and brainwashing, right? They pushed it in the schools. They pushed it in the magazines. They pushed it in Sunday school. They pushed it in so-called church. They pushed it on television. They pushed this image everywhere, right? And it worked, right? So you got to free yourself from this complete insanity, right? This demon, right? Here's another scripture. Give me 1 second. All right, so you're looking, I'm gonna get into a few images, right? Now this image right here, right? A lot of times why they was beating so-called black men, Hispanic and Native Americans, because they wanted them to accept this, right? Christianity, this image as being a God, right? Look at this, right? So a lot of times when the so-called black man would get beat with a whip, right? It was because he didn't, the so-called white man wanted to instill, and embed Christianity into that Jake, right? Let me show you another image. And you see these Jake women, right, making marriages with these so-called white men. The same so-called white men that raped them, our ancestors, is the same so-called men that they're willingly lying with today. That's insane to me. And they go to show you how fucked up our people is, man. We are fucked up. And that's why this gospel is hardcore. It's to the spirit. It invokes passion, emotion, right? Because of the ill dealings, the treachery, right? The rape, robbery, the brainwashing, the indoctrination of our people, right? Our nation, all right? It moves us through the spirit. All right? You see the atrocity, the crimes of the so-called blacks. They even had something called alligator bait, right? Check this out. The breaking of a slave, right? They got something they had called alligator bait, and this is a real thing. This is not something that's made up. When they would feed, they would take little newborn Jake babies. Matter of fact, let me show you this. All right, Salaki, I'm gonna get into this, then I'm gonna get into another scripture before I close it out. But they fed our little babies to alligators so they can get the, they can trap the, they can Salakia. They can bait the alligator in so they can kill the alligator, right, and use this skin and this meat, right? That's how they thought about us, our children, right? And this is actually a real thing. They fed Jake men to alligators as well, right? You had postcards they used to send via through the United States showing these atrocities and crimes, showing so-called black men getting lynched as they cut their genitals off, right? And that's why we got a righteous anger. This kind of stuff should enrage you, man, right? Right here. It says so-called black babies being used as alligator bait, right? So these devil did everything that you can do to a human being to break them, to destroy them, right? And you're going to have to pay for this, right? No one's going to get away, right? And you fucking Edomite Christians, you know what I'm saying? You think you can talk your way out of this, right? You think you can say your Christianity punchlines and we're going to fall for it. No, it's over for you, man. You had your time. Let's go here. Ezekiel 25:14. It says, and I will lay vengeance upon Edom, right? And I know a lot of our people say that vengeance is the Lord because you've been taught to say that and think that way. And that is true to a certain degree. But the Lord's going to give us vengeance to pay back our enemies. Let me read this again. It says, I will lay my vengeance upon Edom. How the Most High going to do this? By the hand of my people Israel. That's how it's going to be executed, through us. Lord willing, I'm of the elect. I'm gonna lay hell on you devils. And they should do and eat them according to my anger and according to my fury. They should know my vengeance, said the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. So that's how the Lord's gonna lay vengeance through his people, Israel. And you're gonna see one of the worst things that humanly can't fathom, right? Because you're gonna get double what you've done to us, right? And what's cool about the Lord, no one's gonna rescue out of this. You can't call the police. You can't call your military, right? It's gonna be something supernatural, right? That you can't do nothing about. You can't call your fucking HOA, right? I'm gonna call a lesson on that. Call Allah Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba Hashem, Rachak Wadash. Shalom.